Morning. Look at this onion that I found sprouting. Maybe I should plant it, not sure. So today is the very first day of imaging for our research project, where we're taking a very fancy camera and a very fancy system using a laser called a laser ophthalmoscope to image the back of our retinas. And this is done on a cellular resolution, so we can actually plot all the different cell types and look at the sort of array of cells in the mosaic at the back of the eye. I wish I could do that in real life. Getting ready for you would be a lot.
Is now ready.
Alright, apologies for the audio quality, I'm just using my headset to record this. Now, 4 lectures in, and the lectures were actually quite interesting. So we had a review lecture on binocular vision and depth perception, and then afterwards we had our Neurological Diseases lecture, had an introduction to interpreting these sorts of tests, which are called visual fields. Basically what they do is they map the vision that you can see out of both eyes, which surprisingly enough isn't something that most people notice if they've got a gap there. So if you've got an enormous blind spot from something like a stroke, a lesion somewhere in your brain, maybe some other sort of disease process like glaucoma, you might not actually realize that you're losing sight as well as you think you might. A non-natural blind spot, you might not notice that either. Basically, from these tests, and depending on the pattern of visual loss that you have, you can actually localize where that defect or that lesion is from the eye all the way to the brain. So if you've got, say, a tumor on your pituitary gland, you might have a visual loss that looks something like this. If you've got glaucoma, neurons at the back of the eye start dying, it might look a little bit more like this. And if you've got a lesion somewhere in your brain, let's say you had a stroke, you might actually end up seeing something like one of these. It's really interesting because your eyes are obviously a part of your brain that have come out and decided to take a look. So you can tell a lot about the health of your brain through the eyes. Now, after that lecture, we had an anterior eye disease lecture, and this lecture focused on ocular anti-inflammatories. Last semester, we did have pharmacology, but that was more of a general systemic pharmacology. We learned about everything from the treatment of diabetes all the way to anti-cancer therapeutics. Next, I've got a preclinical lab session, and we're practicing our fundoscopy, in which we're looking into the back of the eye using our fancy little lenses. Until now, I haven't been able to get a good recording of the inside of the eye because it's really hard to hold the phone up to the slit lamp, control the slit lamp, and hold the lens to actually look inside someone's eye. But I have bought a mount which clips right onto the slit lamp, and hopefully this will at least ease the process by which I can take a bit of footage. Because I remember the first time I had a look inside someone's eyeball, it was quite a special experience. It's a part of someone that reflects how well they treat their body. The eye really is a window into the soul, you might say. And because the slit lamps we use are binocular, we're able to actually appreciate depth. So as we're looking at the back of the eye, we can see all the dips and the valleys and the raised bumps in terms of the blood vessels or any sort of irregularities in the retina. You're able to actually see the blood vessels pulsate. You're able to see this eye sort of move around, and it's a living, breathing piece of tissue in front of you, and a very real part of someone's body. And it's a very special experience that I want to see if I can at least try and get across to you guys.
She calls me day and night. I'm sorry girl, you just don't make me feel right. I never meant to make you cry, you were right. Just leave me be, I'm not gonna put up a fight. And every time you wake up feeling worse and then you check the time. It's never what it feels like, just throw me a dime. If everything was good then you would feel alive. If everything was good then you would feel alive. Everything was good then